Hello everyone, welcome to the Morrowind Book Club. Today, we're going to be reading Invocation of Azura because, looking at my list, I don't see it. Which means that it is either a book we haven't read, or I'm terrible at making notes. Both are equally likely, so let us begin. Well, we didn't get a skill, so that gets rid of that possibility that way of checking if it was something we read before. Invocation of Azura by Sigilla. Wait, sorry, Sigilla. Oh, I think I got it right the first time. Parat. Anyways, let us begin. For 300 years, I have been a priestess of Azura, the Daedric princess of Moonshadow, mother of the rose, and queen of the night sky. Every Hoggatham, which we celebrate on the 21st of First Seed, we summon her for guidance, as well as to offer things of worth and beauty to Her Majesty. She is a cruel but wise mistress. We do not invoke her on any Hoggatham troubled by thunderstorms, for those nights belong to the Mad One, Shelgarath, even if they do coincide with the occasion. Azura at such times understands our caution. I was gonna say Hoggatham. I'm like, oh, I'm not familiar with the word, but it's capitalized. So is that a proper term? What's a Hoggatham? All right. So apparently, after a quick search, Hoggatham appears to be basically the name of this this celebration on the 21st of First Seed. So it's not like on every Hoggatham they do this celebration. They do this celebration called the Hoggatham on this date, blah, blah, blah. All right. So anyways, Azura's invocation is a very personal one. I have been priestess to 3 other Daedric princes, but Azura values the quality of her worshippers and the truth behind our adoration of her. When I was a dark elven maid of 16, I joined my grandmother's coven, worshippers of Molag Bal, the schemer princess. Blackmail, extortion, and bribery are as much the weapons of the witches of Molag Bal as is dark magic. The invocation of Molag Bal is held on the 20th of Evening Star, except during stormy weather. This ceremony is seldom missed, but Molag Bal often appears to her cultists in mortal guise on other dates. When my grandmother died in an attempt to poison the heir of Firewatch, I re-examined my faith in the cult. Now, one thing I've always heard, I've heard very, well, maybe not, oh yeah, I've always heard, since I was a young child. No, but for, in a lot of my discussion or reading about the Daedra, they're generally referred to as princes, Daedric princes. Yet here, we have multiple, see, the 3 other Daedric princes. The schemer princess. And where's the other, there was another instance of princess being, right here, Daedric princess of Moonshadow. So, that's interesting that they are referred to as princes, but then also referred to as specific princesses. The Daedric princess of Moonshadow and the schemer princess. Daedric princess. So, interestingly, I find this interesting because it's like, they're all considered to be male, but they're using a sort of a female title, but the female title seems to be very specific in describing their title. So, I don't know, to me it makes more sense to just be like, to see prince and princess less as actual like gendered titles and just like titles in general. Prince being the general term and princess being more of like a specialization, and them being otherworldly beings like gods. Does gender really factor into this? Because they when you can choose any form, like, does it really matter? I don't know. My brother was a warlock of the cult of Boethia, and from what he told me, the Dark Warrior was closer to my spirit than the treacherous Molag Bal. Boethia was a warrior princess, there it is again, who acts more overtly than any other Daedroth. Daedroth. Interesting. Now the Daedroth, aren't those the giant like reptilian alligator looking crocodile whatever mobobs that we see? These are not the humanoid ones. To my understanding, these are Daedroth are lesser creatures, are they not? Like as far as we'll say the Daedric hierarchy, they're not up on top. Is Daedroth a term that's used? Like this here, this is. I feel like Daedroth has typically referred to a specific type of Daedra. So now this has got me wondering: is this an oversight of the author? Is the author using incorrect terms? Like how reliable is this book for the information? For information on the Daedra. But then again, this book is in Kagranak's library. So if it is within Kagranak's library, to me anyways, that should add a little bit of, at least a little bit of credit to it, right? A little bit of, Anyways, let's keep reading. After years of skulking and scheming, it felt good to perform acts for a mistress which had direct, immediate consequences. Besides, I liked it that Boethia was a Daedra of the Dark Elves. Our cult would summon her on the day we called the Gauntlet, the second of Sun's Dusk. Bloody competitions would be held in her honor, and the duels and battles would continue until 9 cultists were killed at the hands of other cultists. Boethia cared little for her cultists. She only cared for our blood. I do think I saw her smile when I accidentally slew my brother in a sparring session. My horror, I think, greatly pleased her. Was it like your cult brother or your actual brother? Because if it was your actual brother, like, dang, that would suck. Anyways, I left the cult soon after that. Boethia was too impersonal for me, too cold. I wanted a mistress of greater depth. For the next 18 years of my life, I worshipped no one. Instead, I read and researched. It was in an old and profane tome that I came upon the name of Nocturnal. Nocturnal the Night Mistress. Nocturnal the Unfathomable. As the book prescribed, I called to her on her holy day, the 3rd of Hearthfire. At last I had found the personal mistress I had so long desired. I strove to understand her labyrinthine philosophy, the source of her mysterious pain. Everything about her was dark and shrouded, even the way she spoke and the acts she required of me. It took years for me to understand the simple fact that I could never understand Nocturnal. Her mystery was as essential to her as savagery was to Boethia, or treachery was to Molag Bal. To understand Nocturnal is to negate her, to pull back the curtains cloaking her realm of darkness. As much as I loved her, I recognized the futility of unraveling her enigmas. I turned instead to her sister, Azura. Now, Azura is the only Daedra princess I have ever worshipped who seems to care about her followers. Molag Bal wanted my mind, Boethia wanted my arms, and Nocturnal perhaps my curiosity. I mean, of those things, I don't mind giving my curiosity. Nocturnal actually sounds pretty good. I've never heard of Nocturnal before, but yeah, the impression I get from Azura is that Azura's a pretty good Daedra. Azura wants all of that, and our love above all. Not our abject slavering, but our honest and genuine caring in all its forms. It is important to her that our emotions be engaged in her worship, and our love must also be directed inward. If we love her and hate ourselves, she feels our pain. I will for all time have no other mistress. It was a very interesting book. like there's a lot of like implications just based on the way it was written, and I kind of like the personal story of, you know, bouncing around and like experimenting with different gods. This is interesting. Anyways, that has been Invocation of Azura. Hope you enjoyed the read. If you got any thoughts about this one, because this one's intrigued me a little bit, and especially the sigilla. Is that actually? It's hard because I'm like, was this written by been a priestess of Azura? So I'm going to assume that this is a woman writing this. Interesting. So if a woman is writing this and the only male reference to the Daedra is here under princes, it makes me wonder: is it just her perspective? Is all the other accounts we've heard of Daedric princes because the authors and the people who have described the Daedra have been male? I don't know, because I haven't with as much of the lore that I have experienced, let's just say it hasn't been a ton, and I've just been diving into this now, and so far every instance or everything I've heard about Daedra has typically been through the books, and the authors have tended to be male. So it makes me wonder, is this just a case of the author inserts their own gender into the gods? Which would be very interesting, even if you think about like modern, or not modern, we'll say real life examples of religion, and you start questioning why things are the way they are with that as well. Anyways, I'm sorry, my mind is just racing. Like, for some reason, some things on this just kind of like, ooh, there's like a whole little spider web of different thoughts that I can go down, but I'm going to leave that for elsewhere. That's a little outside of the scope of this video. So if you liked it, give the video a thumbs up. If you did not, hated it, leave it a thumbs down. Either way, let me know what you thought in the comment section. If you have any thoughts about this, or if you want to follow one of those little spider threads that I started, by all means, drop it in the comment section. And next time we will continue reading more of these books. Dear goodness, I've got to get through these books. But until that time, until we get to those books, I'd like to ask you all to game on.